Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our first of three live broadcasts. And let me just take a quick peek and see who's here. And I want to welcome all of my friends from Facebook that are watching this. And I want to welcome all of my friends from LinkedIn that are watching this, as well as my YouTube subscribers that are watching this. And of course, I want to welcome all of the students that are participating in this live Zoom. And there's a major network marketing eruption that's taking place right now, as we speak, over the internet. And I want to tell you, it's huge. And it can have a major, major impact and effect on your business. Well-recognized leaders from 5 established network marketing companies, including Viseo, Jeunesse, Isagenix, Mona V, and ACN, announced on Monday the launch of a new company. And it got a lot of attention. The name of the company is called 3. And the names of more leaders from other companies will be forthcoming as they start promoting it, as they start joining. Now, this affects the people in the companies that I mentioned that don't want to stop working in those particular companies. And it's also going to affect people in companies where new leaders are jumping over to join it as well. The company is called 3, and that's their website. Now, this will turn into a major network marketing disruption. Because when leaders leave a company to join another company, they try to bring as many leaders and team members from their old company with them. And so for those of you that are in any of those other companies, there are steps that you need to take to protect your team, to protect your organization. And so tonight at 9 o'clock, I'm going to be hosting a special webinar where we're going to dive deeper into what's happening. And for those of you that are leaders in Isagenix, we're doing a special broadcast at 8 p.m. So network marketers are in the center of a perpetual storm of opportunity because things like this happen all the time. Every month, 200 companies close, fail to launch, merge with other companies, or make unpopular changes that drive their leaders and teams to other companies. And every month, 300 new companies are launched. Statistically, 93% of them are going to fail within 5 years and drive their leaders and teams to other companies. You can go to bed on a Friday and you've got a team or a downline of thousands of people. And by Monday, half of them are gone. They've followed somebody to another company. So let me give you a little overview. In January, and I've been talking about Jeunesse since October of last year, Kim Wei was the top earning network marketer, and she left Jeunesse. Well, Jeunesse had all kinds of financial issues. And on January the 23rd, they closed a deal with a financial group called LaCour Enterprises that have a history of acquiring network marketing companies. And when they do, you can count on a lot of changes, changes in the comp plan, changes in the commission structure, changes in everything. So Kim, top earner in Jeunesse, is part of this new venture. So on Monday, they announced they're opening in 14 countries simultaneously. Now, how do they do that? We'll talk about that tonight. In her broadcast, in the video that she made, there was a statement in small print. Kim Hui shows the power of our company pay plan, but this is not the final pay plan. And you can count on that because companies, when they launch, will put together an impressive pay plan to encourage leaders to come and bring their teams, bring their people. After 90 days or after 180 days, the accountants come in and they say, hey, whoa, we can't afford this. And they end up changing the comp plan. And quite often, it drives many leaders to leave. The company is banking on the fact that people are going to like the new products and they're going to get customers. And some leaders, again, will stay. Now, a little background history, and this is just a small nugget of what we're going to talk about tonight. Dallin Larson was the founder of Perpetual. Initially, he was a new skin distributor, an eloquent speaker, great presenter, and he was hired by USANA. He was their VP of marketing. Well, he left to start Mona V with 6 investors in 2006. Now, quite often, people who rise to the top of a company, they're great leaders, they're great chainers, they're great promoters, but it doesn't mean they know how to run a company. And that, in many cases, is their Achilles heel. So in 2013, Dallin brought on an investor group to help take the company to another level, step back from the day-to-day activity, basically relinquish control of the company. And in 2014, Mona V merged with Jeunesse. Now, at the time, I had been training Mona V distributors for years, and I had been training some of the leaders in Jeunesse, and 3 of the leaders in Jeunesse that I was working with in their teams were all excited because Jeunesse had just announced that they're going to be opening up in Europe. They're going to be opening up in South America, and we listed those countries. All of my Jeunesse students were excited because there is a strategy that is incredibly effective when you're working with an established company that is going into a new country. And that excitement was dampened when Mona V merged with Jeunesse, because Mona V was already in those countries. And there already were distributors in Europe. There were already distributors in South America. The good news was that none of those distributors knew anything about building a business on social media. So all of my jeunesse students had an edge. In 2017, Dallin started Viseo. Coming out of retirement. Now, by the way, I need to say that the buck stops with the leader. And Dallin took a lot of heat, made a lot of people unhappy that Monavie crashed. I mean, people had poured their hearts, their souls into building Monavie, and they blamed him. They blamed him. So he starts Viseo in 2017, and he started to attract a lot of people. And in 6 years, Viseo kept growing, attracting leaders from other companies. Many of my friends, actually, many of my friends from Isogenics went over to Viseo. Just like many of my friends that were working with USANA ended up going over to Isogenics. People move, things change. So he started Viseo in 2017. And on February 21st, he shut down Viseo. Shut it down. There is no longer going to be a Viseo. And so a lot of the leaders in Viseo took part in this launch of 3. And when you think about it, where are they going to go? What are they going to do? They either jump over to Viseo, or they're going to have to find another company. And not everybody that's in their downline, not everybody in their organization is going to be that anxious to follow their leaders. This is a phenomenon that happens in this business. So specifically, I want to talk about George, because George has been a leader and $1 million earner in 4 companies. He's a good friend. George started to follow me when I was training people how to build a business on America Online. Today, he's still working with one of his $1 million earners that he connected with on AOL. George's first company was Vaxa. To get into the business, George didn't have enough money to buy a starter kit. He was working in a restaurant. So George got his boss. Not only did he sign his boss up in Vaxa, I mean, he sold some appliances from home. He sold a computer. To get the money, he still came up short. So he borrowed the money from his boss, who also signed up in Vaxa, and rose right on top of the company. George is a hard worker, and he's a great leader, and he's a great teacher. After 2 years, Vaxa goes out of business. So do leaders have 2 choices? They either walk away from network marketing, vowing never to do it again. But George was very popular in Vaxa. So he jumps over to USANA. Became a top earner the first year for 8 years. He trained, he helped a lot of people in USANA thrive. Now, USANA is not very social media friendly. USANA, frankly, has never really embraced social media. Most of their leaders today are anti-social media. So building a USANA business is harder than it has to be, but you know, their leaders are used to an old way of thinking. It is what it is. So when Jimmy Smith, who was also a top earner in USANA, jumped over to Isogenics, and Jimmy is probably one of the biggest all-time earners in the company. He dripped on George 35 times before George followed Jimmy to Isogenics. And he was in Isogenics for 13 years. He was a top earner, very popular. He spoke Spanish. And everybody in the company relied on George for training when they opened up Mexico, when they opened up Puerto Rico, when they opened up Colombia, when they started opening up South America. And then George left Isogenics. Now, when people leave a company, there's always a reason. And it doesn't necessarily mean that there's something wrong with the company. George's story very quickly is when he joined Isogenics, he put his business in his wife's name, his first wife, and subsequently divorced her. And they had an agreement. The money is all going to his wife. Business is in her name. And so they had agreement where she'd take the money and George would get a portion and she'd be responsible for paying the taxes. After all, the money's going to her. So it worked out for quite some time. And then one day, George gets a note. Actually, Isogenics got the note from the IRS that taxes hadn't been paid, and they literally attached the account. So for a period of 6 months, George wasn't getting paid. The government was collecting the money, and he could not, his hands were tied. But legally, the company could not pay, even though it was he did the work, even though he was responsible for all the income. There's nothing he could do. So he had to leave. And he shopped around for another company. George is a phenomenal, like I said, network marketer. He understands comp plans better than anybody that I've ever met. He could actually start a consulting business revolving around comp plans. So he leaves Isogenics, and Dallin Larson was his friend. In fact, Dallin Larson was a customer in his Isogenics business. So he joins Viseo. Now, he was a top earner in USANA, $1 million earner, top earner in Isogenics, $1 million earner. And he was when he joined Viseo, it took him about 8 to 9 months to become a diamond because Isogenics wasn't happy that he left. And they went after him because they were concerned that he was going to be bringing Isogenics leaders with him. And there's a process where a leader can do that, but you got to be really, really careful because your old company will literally go after you. But he reached the diamond rank, and now Viseo is shutting down. So he joined 3. Now, 3 is a new company, and Dallin is playing a role in getting everybody from Viseo to move over to 3. So it's not like Viseo just shut down. In their mind, all of the people that work for Viseo are now working for 3. There's no interruption at the corporate office as far as the employees, but still, for the customer of Viseo, or for the new network marketer that just joined Viseo, they're being encouraged to, we're just changing hats. We're just we're just taking a better approach. And so how many Viseo people follow their leaders over to 3 remains to be seen. Okay. So I'm currently working with many of the leaders and top earners and their teams in over 100 companies. Now, many of my students started where you are and became the top earners and leaders in their companies thanks to social networks like Facebook and LinkedIn. And this movement, these changes that are taking place in the industry. Many did it faster by bringing top earners and their teams from other companies into their company. Now, these are little known secrets. Nobody talks about it. In fact, I didn't learn how big of a deal this was until my 3rd year in network marketing, and I learned it by accident. But once I learned it, I had a team of about 350 people. In 18 months, I had 7,000 people. I was training everybody in my company how to use America Online to build a business. And then in August of 2018, I had finally reached the leadership level in the company, and I got an email to come to the event 2 days earlier because the company had a big announcement. And so for 2 days, they went through a whole pony show explaining that we're going to be merging with another company. Everything was going to change. They assured us that what we were marketing and promoting would continue. It didn't. And that's how I ended up doing what I'm doing today. Because many of the leaders in that company left and they went to other companies. So tonight at 9 o'clock, I'm going to dig deeper into what's going on in the business, what's going on in the industry. Because, and this is going to be the main focus of our 3-day winter retreat that's going to start on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So for those of you who have aspirations to become top earners faster, I urge you to secure a place, because your business grows faster when you bring people from other companies into your business that have teams. And yes, James, we're on for this afternoon. Now, all comes down to conversation. It all comes down to talking to people. And LinkedIn, we just finished up our February boot camp. And I've opened up registration for the March boot camp. Now, LinkedIn has made a huge, huge change. And many of my students are already starting to take advantage of this new feature. Some of you have it, and many of you don't. So when we go to our network, after we look at your invitations, they have a new feature called celebrations, where they are focusing on job changes, birthdays, and work anniversaries. Now, prior, anybody that changed their job, anybody that had a birthday, anybody that had a work anniversary, everything was put in notifications. And you'd have to scroll down a list to find the birthdays, job changes, or anniversaries. What's happening now is if you click on see all, they've broken it down. So when you change your profile, when you go through the profile guide and you change your profile and you make changes in the description of something that you're doing, or when you create a new company and a new position, though that's certainly a job change, and everybody that you're connected to is going to see it. Everybody that changed their job, you're going to see. And you have an opportunity so here's somebody that I connected with in 2020. Now, this is the big one. We go over to birthdays. And we could scroll down and look at the people that we're connected to that are having a birthday. And you could wish someone a happy birthday. But what's interesting, see, I've been connected to her since 2014, but we've never really talked. And so this is a new feature that you're absolutely going to love. And we have scripts, exciting new scripts, to enable you to start having conversations with these people. And then work anniversaries. You go in there and you change the start date for something. If you've been in your network marketing company for an extended period of time, just change the start month to February, and all of your friends are going to notice. And again, I have no idea who sent this. Clearly, I'm going to have to talk to somebody on my staff, because this is not about copy and paste. It's copy, edit, and paste. But this gives you a whole new way to communicate with people that you're connected to. We also demonstrated, for those of you that have been at this for a while. In fact, yesterday I was talking to a coaching student that had stepped away for a while, and now she's coming back. And so if you go over to your network, your first level connections, I've got 10,000. so you can search your existing network. Showing all the people that you're connected to that are open to something else. I got 86 people. How many people are looking for an opportunity? I got 1,200. For those of you that are existing student, you'll be amazed at what pops up when you do this. And then when you check to see when was the last time you talked to them, some of these people you haven't talked to in years. It's a great way to re-engage people that you're already connected to. Now, on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we're going to dive into what the top earners in network marketing know. Whoops. And all of the recordings are saved. Well, I see they're going to have to go in there and make a change. But you're going to get our ebooks, How to Catch Wheels, the Top Earners 90-Day Game Plan, and we're going to be sharing with everybody scripts I'm going to be back at 4 o'clock. We'll look at conversations. But over 3 days, we're going to teach you what the top earners know but never talk about. And for those of you that are in the February boot camp, we gave you access to the January boot camp, where we spent a whole session on developing $1 million mindset. On Saturday, we're going to dig deeper into that. So you will leave on Sunday motivated and empowered to build your business like never before. We're going to dive into the 10 big secrets that are never talked about, how to connect with whales. We're going to spend a few hours walking you through the first 2 steps and the second 2 steps of your 90-day game plan. And when we're done, we're going to help you develop a plan of action for the rest of the year. I don't think I've ever been more excited to do a retreat than this one. And the timing of this new business. And let me just say this, okay? There are leaders from other companies that are jumping in to 3. I got a couple of people in Malibu that are jumping into 3. So you really have to be aware of what's happening to protect your organization from people that are trying to pitch your team members on this new opportunity. Again, I will be back tonight at 9 o'clock, where we're going to dive deeper into what's taking place. You don't want to miss it. Go to maxsteingart.com/special webinar. And secure your place. Until next time, Best of luck in building your business, and God bless.